Hello everyone and welcome back. Kirby1 here, and today I'm doing a bit of a special presentation, a different kind of video than I've done before in the past. I'm going to be borrowing another person's save file and seeing what I can do to do a little bit of helpful editing and sort of drawing the original player into a certain direction to maybe help them recover the game state. Special thanks to Ic0n Gaming, who I reached out after watching his videos and asked if he was willing to let me borrow his save file and do this kind of thing. And he said yes, and through trial and error we were able to transfer the game files over, and now I have the latest turn that he has, which he also did a video recording of on his channel, so I highly recommend you go and check that out. The link to his game will be in the description, the game channel. So here we see he is playing as Naba, and his primary opponent is Abysia down here. There is one other nation still alive in the game. That is Relay, which we know where they are. They're down here, but they're not a big concern. Excuse me. Abysia in this particular case has started above ground. His capital is right there. And the number of thrones needed to win is 6 out of 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. He has 2 claimed, but access to, I think, probably a third one somewhere. I believe this one, yes, has not been claimed yet. So he can get a third one there. There's a fourth one here, which has a fort on it. And then I'd have to look around and find the others. I don't think... Check underground. Okay, there's one. So there's one underground, which you'd have to get to. And I'm probably blind, but this one's been claimed. Oh, there's one. Okay, that one was just recently lost in a battle this turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th is underground. So if we can make a big push into Abysia, cripple their fighting ability, then that would be victory. As of right now, the main struggle has been with the size of the stacks that he's been fighting. And the composition that he has mostly been mages supporting as many frontline troops as he has been able to gather, but we've gotten far into the late game. As you can see from technology, we've got basically everything at level 8, which is almost a new level 9 at this point. And then we have a lot of gem income. Gold is okay in the bank right now. We can do something with that, but the income to upkeep ratio is a little low. We would want to, if we were doing whole ham on this, readjust where some of the forts are, get some repeat recruitment going on in some of these places. But actually, I wanted to keep this simple, keep it relatively short, and just do maybe a couple of turns for demonstration purposes and focus really as narrowly as I can on a very specific avenue of approach. The big thing with an Abysia versus Naba matchup is obviously that a large portion of your strengths as Naba, being fire mages, is going to be much reduced because all of Abyssia's troops are going to have fire resistance. And so there's that. But that can be negated because you are also a very strong air nation, and something I'm learning with playing Naba in this game and also looking at them some more, they're a very big Glamour nation as well. So for starters, what I want to introduce and demonstrate in this video is the concept of battlefield-wide spells, a couple of remote attacks as well, and how to get there and how to get them on your mages, which will primarily be focusing on which items to use as boosters. So for boosters, what you can do with Naba to focus on is air and glamour. Fire we're going to discount because of just not using it against an Abyssea matchup. We can do nature because we have a nature 2 random here as well, but we'll probably not do as much of that. So I'll focus on air and glamour, and then maybe a little bit of earth as well. So the primary boosters for air, and we'll start with air, is Winged Helmet, and then it used to be Bag of Winds in Dominions 5, but it's actually not anymore. Bag of Winds is a very, very different item. And Bag of Winds used to be an Air 5 requirement and costing, I believe, well, if it's Air 5, it would probably be 50 gems. That's generally the sort of ratio there. And so it would be very expensive, but it would be in a miscellaneous slot. Right now, Bag of Winds is something very different. We have a couple made here, but I'm not going to get into that too much because we're focusing mostly on the boosters. And to showcase that, I'm going to go into research, and we're going to go into construction, and that should be here. This will be all of them. Now, another thing you can do to sort of be helpful to filter out booster items is, I don't remember the hop key off the top of my head, but if you press question mark, you can see the filters right here, the kinds of things that you would want. And what you would want to see is Magic Path boosting items only. So the hotkey for that is O. If you press O, it'll show you all the items that are boosters. I actually just right now remembered that it is actually the air item is actually in this category. So there's Winged Helmet right there. That costs 25 and is Air 4 requirement. So we need an Air 4 mage. And then the other one is this one, Horn of Storms, which is another booster, and that actually only costs 40, but it requires an Air 5 mage. So as you can see, the way that you sort of do this is you have a starting Air 4 mage, you bootstrap them up with the Winged Helmet, and then you can, with that combo, forge the Horn of Storms. So it is very, very important if you are going to be making air boosters specifically to have an Air 4 mage, and then go Air 4 to Air 5, and with this you would be total Air 6. The way that you can look to see what kind of mages you have is available to you in a save file like this is if you press F1, then it will show you every single thing that you have in the game, both in terms of provinces, in terms of mages, where they are, all sorts of things, even what kinds of items they're using, what they're doing, how many troops they're commanding, how many gems they have, and etc. Now, even in this screen, you can also filter it by all sorts of different things. So we're going to show only air mages with A, which doesn't narrow it down that much because we have so many combo mages. But we're going to just sort of follow this column right here. This part right here shows you the highest level that you've site searched in a province, and these are the sites that you found. And this part right here is the corresponding magic path to the mage. So we've got 3s, 2s, 1s, and you keep scrolling down. It looks like, unfortunately, we don't have any Air 4s. Now you can get around this a couple of different ways, but I'm going to do the simplest and just empower one of the Air 3s to an Air 4 so that we can just get the ball rolling. It'll take a couple of turns, one turn to empower, one turn to make the item for Air 4, and then we'll have at least 2 Air 4s because we can use the Air 4 that we've empowered, and then we can make the helmet and then have him give the helmet to somebody else if we wanted to, or we can use the helmet to make the Air 5 booster, or we can do any number of combination of things, keep making air boosters. We have quite a large stockpile of gems, so This is something that I would not normally recommend doing because of how expensive it is. But in this particular case, speed is a little bit of the essence because we will have to be reacting to doing all of this in addition to the fact that we're having to fend Abyssia off. So that's the plan for air. And what we want to aim for with air specifically would be in evocation. And for air, the two that I want to highlight are going to be Wrathful Skies right here and Thunderstorm. Wrathful Skies will require air 5 and 2 gems to cast it, and this is a battle enchant. And what it does is it winds up striking everywhere on the battlefield repeatedly for the entire duration of the battle after it's cast with lightning bolts. And having Storm up will double the number of lightning strikes. Now that hits everybody, friend and foe, so in order to be prepared against that, we are going to want to have an enchantment, Thunderfend, which a lot of your troops already have shock resistance, but having a little bit more will help as well. And Thunderfend is in a line of various air spells that allow you to protect a certain number of troops from this particular element. So you've got Thunderfend, you've got Thunder Ward, which affects an area of 20, and then you have Lesser Thunder Ward, which is just an area effect of 1. But Thunderfend is the whole battlefield, and since we have access to it, we're going to do it, and that will require air 4. Back to evocation. Thunderstorm is a very, very fun new spell to Dominion 6, which is a remote attack that you can cast at a province 3 provinces away. It will target a province in the magic phase, which means that the province that you are hitting will, the troops in the province will be hit even if they were to wind up moving, which means that where they arrive after being hit, they will probably still be injured if they hadn't been killed from the various effects. This will have 40 effects across the battlefield, and it will damage whoever it hits with 28 shock damage, armor negating. So very, very fun, and the best part is you get to watch it happen and you get to see all the bad guys that you kill. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that as well, and that only requires air 4. So aside from air, we're also going to work on some Glamour spells as well. Now Glamour is has adopted a couple of old tricks that we used to have in Dominions 5 and a couple of new ones as well. But actually I'm just going to focus on some of the old tricks that have been moved over to Glamour. One of the most powerful ones you actually have access to with Naba that Naba didn't have access to in Dominions 5, and that, for anyone who is knowledgeable with such things, would come as no surprise, is going to be Wailing Winds, and that is in Glamour with Glamour Air. Wailing Winds is not a damaging spell, but it will win you the battle, because what this does is it is a battlefield enchantment, and similarly to Wrathful Skies, it will be affecting the battlefield for the entire duration of the battle for as long as it is up. Once it is cast, which you want to cast as soon as possible, and what this will do is it will continually target all enemies that it hits with a fear effect, reducing the morale and causing them to eventually run away, which means that you get to win the battle. This is a very, very easy way of forcing your enemy to have smaller stacks, because the larger their stack is, if a great many of them start running away, then the rest of them will soon follow. You want to have smaller stacks, you want to have higher morale, you want to have things like mindless units, all sorts of different things. This can be a very, very devastating spell. And I'll show you another trick at the end of this video for how to make supreme usage of Wailing Winds in a different sort of combo scenario. And then in addition to that, we're going to do Shimmering Fields. Shimmering Fields used to be an air spell, but it is now a glamour spell, which doesn't affect Naba too much because they could have cast it either way, and they did used to be able to cast it in Dominions 5. Now, it's a little bit different from the others because it's not a battlefield-wide spell. However, it has a very, very, very large area of effect, and it does the new kind of false damage. This will probably not necessarily win you a battle just by casting it, and it also has a very short range, which means that it can hit your own troops as well. That may or may not be a problem depending on what kind of troops you're using. And we'll be able to use a certain type of combo to cast this spell in a scenario that will allow you to do maximum damage with hopefully minimal damage to your own troops. But it also requires a gem. It deals 9 false damage, and it creates a cloud which continues to do false damage as well in the square. So I think this will be fun to see how it works, but if we were to use it, it may not necessarily actually win us the battle, but it will do a lot more damage than some of the other spells that have been used in this game in the past. So in order to get to those spells, we'll also need boosters, and Naba is actually in a good place when it comes to making glamour boosters because glamour boosters can be kind of hard to reach for some glamour nations because a lot of nations have sort of dabbled into glamour, gotten some of their paths replaced, but with very, very low glamour. But in order to boost up to glamour, you actually need to get up to glamour 3. So we'll go back into research, and in construction, I believe this one, we have the first booster, which is also a head slot, which is the Gossamer Veil. This will give you stealth if you didn't have it already, and blur if you didn't have it already, but both of these things are things that Naba can get easily anyways. And it will boost you up by 1 glamour in your for your head slot for 15 gems. And then the other booster is actually in this one, Mirage Crystal, and that one also costs Glamour 3, but it also has Earth cost as well, which can be kind of difficult to reach. Now this item cost is actually reduced for your nation, and as well it is reduced for Ubar, although Ubar can't actually make it natively. It might be a little difficult to make it as Naba as well, but this reason for having Earth 2 is another reason why we wanted to get an Earth booster. And on the topic of Earth boosting, the easiest Earth booster to get is a boot slot, which is right here, Earth Boots. And that requires an Earth level 2 mage as well, and costs 10 Earth gems. So if we take a look at our mages once again, and we go to G for Glamour, we see there's a Glamour 3 mage right there, so he can make that. There's another one. So we can make a couple of Gossamer Veils right there. So three in total if we had them in labs right now. And then as far as Earth mages, we need Earth 2. So there's an Earth 2, and there's an Earth 2. So we can make 2 Earth Boots. However, the combo of Earth 2 with Glamour 3 is what we need. So what we would need to do in this case is we would need to make Earth Boots with these 2 guys. Then we would need to put a Gossamer Veil on this person, and then the Earth Boots on this person. And that would make them Earth 2, Gossamer Veil would make them Glamour 3, and then this person would be able to make the Mirage Crystal, and that would allow us to have Glamour 4 on this person, or we would have 2 Glamour boosters which we could move around to anybody that we would need them to have. So for example, this person could go up to Glamour 5 or things like that. So that is our plan. We're going to just make a couple of these items. We're going to, I'm just personally going to switch up a little bit of recruitment. Research is fine since we basically have everything already. And I won't delve into artifacts in this particular case, although we might wind up researching it anyways. And then I'll come back in a little bit once I have solidified that baseline, and then we'll do some demonstration battles for this kind of thing. Hello again, welcome back, and we are now set up for a test of our first situation of using a big battlefield-wide spell to destroy, hopefully destroy an army. Might need to bring more stuff. But we have here an army of 570 units. Their pretender Golden Lion is here as well, making very, very sure to be invested in this fight. Now, a couple of different things that you can do in order to select what you want to see is going to participate in the battle will be a couple of different things. So for the province and everything in the province, you usually can press T, and that will show you everything that is currently in the province. If you want to see everything that is going to be in the province next turn, you can press Y, which in this case I'm not moving anything into the province, so it will be pretty much the same. But if you want to see what will be patrolling in a province, or what is going to be breaking siege from a fort, you can press U. And so in this particular case, I've done a number of different things. First of all, I kind of had to do a bit of an emergency situation for this because I was concerned about the fort being cracked and all of this stuff on top. I think that what is in it can probably still take it, especially if I script it a little bit better. We'll make another Ring of Regeneration here. But I was not 100% prepared, so I will probably wind up throwing a little bit more out here. But what I've got so far is a basic thug gear for these Jinn that I created, and a bit of a sort of thug spread of personal buff spells. And then we're going to do Thunderfend for everybody that happens to be participating in the battle, like I said, to protect against the effects of the spell that I'm going to cast, and Wrathful Skies. Now I have Storm Power cast, but one of the very important things about Storm Power is that it doesn't actually give you anything unless the battlefield-wide spell Storm is cast. Now, there are a couple of different ways you can go about doing this. One is an item, which, if we go back into our handy-dandy thing here, is not actually a booster, but I know what it is. It's this Staff of Storms right here. It says Start of Battle Storm. So that means when you are holding, somebody is holding this item, it doesn't even have to be a mage, it can just be anybody, is holding this item in a battle, then Storm will be present. In this particular case, I did not prepare well enough to have one of those in advance, so we do not have that. And so the second backup, which you can do, and again, very easy having all of the spells available, is Perpetual Storm, which will have Storm present for every battle in the entire world for free. So I'm going to do that instead because that will have vast benefit to me, absolutely no benefit to Abyssia, and so we're going to do that. And that will take effect as well for this particular battle. I'm going to pause, throw in some more guys to this fight so that we are sure to win, and I'll come back when we have started the battle. Let's see who will win. I think, but Storm is indeed up. Alright, Thunderfend up shortly. Okay, and there it is, Wrathful Skies. So this is what it looks like And as you can see, it's just going to do this for as long as this person right here, nope, not that person, and also not that person, this person right here is still alive and on the battlefield. And that's what this little symbol means, cast by Elmira. So we can fast forward this and watch the fireworks. You can see a couple of guys are getting into the back line, but it is too late. They are already running away because they have suffered so much damage. And this is part of the downside of having very large armies, is that they will just suffer so much damage from large effect spells like this that once about half of them are killed, the rest will all run away. So that was a successful test. Deep Forest. We lost only 4 Storm Drakes, plus however many gems we had to throw into this. That was the real cost. But as you can see, we destroyed 570 of their units. Unfortunately, their god got away, but we can get him later. A couple of other things happened, but we don't really care about this. This particular ritual right here, Tapestry of Dreams, I just threw up all over the place because I was going to try and put scouts in the provinces just to see what was around us, but I couldn't be bothered. And so I did it the lazy way. So as you can see, that is one way of getting rid of an army. Now, the people who retreated happened to scatter into these particular 5 provinces around us. That too can also be dealt with in its own way. Let's see if we can figure out where the pretender went to. Right here. So their pretender is still alive, and he is right here. And that leaves us with a pretty good opportunity, actually, to take him out with the next demonstration of the spell. So, well, actually, I think this is probably a more dangerous threat currently. So we're going to do that next. And the next thing we were going to do is Thunderstrike, which is a remote ritual, or Thunderstorm, because Thunderstrike is the battlefield version of that. So Thunderstorm, we will be able to do now. Unfortunately, I've been destroying the gem stockpile that was saved up for us. Thank you for those gems, but I will burn through those like there's no tomorrow in order to get a bunch of random crap happening. And again, Empower was actually a little bit of a waste. It was done on this particular person, Elmira, right here. But one of the things that I forgot is that Naba has access to the Marids summon, and Marids are air 4 already inherently by themselves. So that would have actually saved me a little bit of air gems, about 60 air gems, which is the equivalent cost of 2 thunderstorms, unfortunately. But we'll just have to deal with it by alchemizing instead. So what I'm going to do is I am going to target this army with Thunderstorm, and this army with a Thunderstorm, and this army with a Thunderstorm. We'll cast all of those, and then we'll come back and we will see how those look. Hello once more, and here we are back the next turn for Thunderstorm. Man, I keep getting those mixed up. Sorry. But anyways, 3 strikes, and we get to, this is new to Dominion 6, we get to watch and see. We'll see. And there it goes. A couple guys died there. Yep, so, oh, well, okay. I guess he's a little late to the party. But yeah, we just threw down a Thunderstorm, and then it's over. And we get to see how many people we killed. Just 12, so plus some of the PD. Not really super effective for 30 gems, I think it was. Watch another one. This one apparently takes place at night. But, as you can see, the larger the army, the more likely you are to get hit. So we actually took out a commander there, as well as a couple of units. And then in this one, this is where I believe his pretender is. Yep. This one's really good because there's a big clump right here if we hit them. Yeah, that was really good. So we got a bunch of them there. I think that was a mercenary band. So yeah, we bopped a bunch of his mercenaries for free. Now, of course, after this is during the magic phase. After this, he moves somewhere with whatever armies those guys were doing. So as we can see, this guy moved here with some of his stuff. And then they moved back on top of this fort with another 110 guys. Not particularly concerned about that just because of the way that I've been setting myself up. And so there we are. So that's some of the things you can do with air magic. I think it is probably better if you actually stack a bunch of thunderstorms all in the same province instead of scattered about like that. But that's worth testing if you have some time and you want to try that. As we get magic phase. So after they were hit, then they moved, and then they were still injured from the previous thing. Now, at this point in the turn phase, they have healed all their stuff, so when we fight them again next turn, they will be healed back up, unless they sustained any permanent afflictions or got diseased by the strike or anything like that. So there we go. So now we're going to go into the stuff you can do with Glamour. And the first thing that we'll do is Wailing Winds. And I'll actually pair Wailing Winds with the spell that I was talking about, Shimmering Fields, so that we can see them both in effect in one battle. And then afterward, I will do a magic phase version of this ability as well. And we'll be back for that. Hello. Welcome back once more. And now we will watch our demonstration. Oh, I forgot. Well, I forgot to add in the shimmering field, but we're gonna watch the battle with Wailing Winds. Now, one of the other things that you can do specifically with Wailing Winds is you can pair it with Twilight right here. We are not too concerned about that, but it's a little bit different insofar as it's not going to actually kill the people. It's just going to cause them to run away. And yep, so we got it. Sorry, I was speeding it up a little bit to see, but we can watch once more, and a little bit on slower mode, because they actually do manage to get into our back line right here, which is why we need the buffers here to hold them back, and stop right on top of you like evocations, which I think these mages are trying to get up close and personal in order to do stuff like that to us, but we managed to hold them off, and we have our own evocations as well to hit them back. Alright, and we're back. And this time, I promise, we have done the scripting of the spell, sorry, the Shimmering Field spell. So this will be our final demonstration in order to just sort of show you guys a couple of things that you can do in order to beat big Doomstacks. And so the battle in particular is in Sleepy Mountains. This is where we're going to have Wailing Winds, and we're going to have Shimmering Fields as well. So we put up Twilight as well. Now as soon as these guys hit the 25, range 25, so I put it sort of at the tail end of our script. There we go. So that's what Shimmering Fields looks like. I think we're going to do another one. Well, we've got the effect already. Let's watch that again so we can get a better look at it. Okay, so a couple of people doing ephemeral blasts, or a dance of ephemeral swords. See what else is going on. Some more phantasmal beasts. And the energy does specific. And yeah, so it'll just instantly die. However, false damage is MR negates, so it will be blocked initially, but then later on, if they have it, it cannot be gotten rid of. And it bypasses things like regeneration and blood bond and other effects that are kind of annoying to deal with. So as you can see, the enemy has already routed just from the little amount of damage that we've done to them. Now, if we were successful in these other 3 battles, then that means that they had nowhere to run to. And you can tell the magic phase battles are up here, and the regular phase battles are down here. So as long as these were all successful, this was conquered, this was conquered, and this was conquered. You can also, as you can see, do things like this, which is build nice big super combatants as well. We can watch that real quick. But basically, Merid has a lot of very, very powerful stats that he can give himself. He has firepower and magic power, which unfortunately in the Dominion that we're fighting in, he took drain scales, so we're only getting the benefit from the heat scales. And then you give him a bunch of various powerful equipment, and then he himself is also capable of casting spells to improve his stats as well. So things like Liquid Body for taking half damage from normal effects, Mist Form, Iron Skin, Shroud of Splendor for Awe, and he's a very tanky boy. He also has Luck and a shield from this. The Singing Sword will just auto-spell entrancement around him for anybody who has low MR. He has regeneration in case he does get hit, and he has a auto-spell Lightning Bolt as well from his. And as you can see, he'll just stand there, being surrounded by enemies, and not really be too concerned about it. And there you go. So he managed to hold that off. And now because all 3 of these provinces were surrounded in the magic phase, everybody who was in here actually died on retreat. So we actually killed 163 units instead of just this 35 because they had nowhere to retreat to. So that's that. And those are all of the things I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and there are many, many other tricks that you can do with this in a variety of different paths. Things like Firestorm comes to mind for high fire mages, which is not really applicable against Abyssia, for example, but is usually very strong. Things like Winds of Death is very potent if you have death magic. There's a variety of different options that you have available to you. Ic0n actually did a video recently showcasing how to use Winds of Death effectively in similar circumstances. So I hope everybody has enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.